welcome back to another episode of the Bank on It podcast. Hello to all the good people out there. We're always brought to you by the Appalachian Newspapers, and with me to my left, regional sports editor Randy White.
Nailed it.
Cory Vance behind the camera, doing all the work, making us look so good. And we've got some sponsors this week, so we'd like to say thank you to Presbyterian Home Good Shepherd. It's a long-term care facility located in Phelps, Kentucky, offering skilled nursing services, therapy services, daily enriching activities, chaplain services, weekly housekeeping and laundry, an attractive dining area where menu options are offered to meet all dietary needs, which is important, and all provided in a home-like environment. Call today for questions or to schedule a tour, 606-456-8725. We're also brought to you by Dr. Shane Hensley. Every athlete knows a good smile builds confidence. Dr. Shane Hensley at Downtown Dental in Pikeville can help build confidence. Visit Dr. Hensley at 419 Town Mountain Road or call 433-1488 and score the perfect smile thanks to Dr. Shane Hensley. And then Presbyterian Homes on Cedar Creek is an assisted living facility in Pikeville, Kentucky, providing delicious dining, meaningful activities, thoughtful amenities, holistic health care, assistance with activities of daily living, serene setting. It's a great looking place. I drive by it every day. Faith-based nonprofit. Call Executive Director Jessica Thacker to schedule a tour at 606-432-8243. Now, it was a great weekend for all local sports fans. I think we had some awesome basketball going on over at the Expo Center this week, and I guess a little bit of an upset in the championship game, but what was your overview of just the whole tournament?
Just the tournament. I mean, some of those early round games, I mean, some big wins, but once we get into that semifinal round, it really started, though, on the first round of East Ridge and Sheldon Clark. The actions really started picking up. That one went to overtime. East Ridge pulled out a big win. Cameron Hess hit a huge three. Then you get to the semifinals, Paintsville, Shelby Valley. Great game there, great atmosphere. Shelby Valley found a way to win that one. Cody Potter was just on fire that night. Pikeville found a way to, go by East Ridge pretty easily. But that set up everything Sunday for the championship. And Wes, you were there. I mean, just kind of talk about that atmosphere in the Expo. That place was loud, great atmosphere for high school basketball, and what a finish.
Yeah, it really was, and especially for a person like me who's been kind of out of the local sports scene for a few years until I moved back a couple of years ago. It was awesome to see such a great crowd out for the game. They had a great crowd over the Expo Center. Both student sections and fans were absolutely on fire. They were fired up for the game. And we saw a really good game. I mean, it was a tough first half for both teams. Kind of couldn't get the ball in the hoop. They kind of Pikeville did a great job on defense. They just weren't getting shots to fall. And then the second half, it was the Worrix brothers show, man.
Tie game, and the smallest guy on the floor, Keian Worrix.
Yeah.
In crunch time running out, he took the shot. He made the shot. As time expired, Shelby Valley gets the 15th Region Championship on a last-second shot. I mean, no better way for these two teams to finish this game. It's one of those games you don't want to see either team lose because they're competing so hard.
Right.
It's just a good basketball game, but what an end to that. And Keian Worrix, oh my goodness.
Keian Worrix definitely gets the Grit Award, taking it coast to coast. And check out our Twitter page for that. We've got that live. We were recording it. And another shout out to Christian Billiter for really playing some great defense against Cody Potter in the game. I think all of his points came from the free throw line, which credit to him for sinking all of his free throws. You don't see a lot of star athletes being able to do that these days.
In our highlights, you're going to see an interview with Coach Jim Hicks, who would say, if you would have told me Cody Potter wouldn't have scored a field goal and we would have won, I would have thought there's no way. That just shows you what a team effort it really was, and the meaning of team in the game of basketball is a big thing. Your star's not always going to put up 20, 30 points. he found other ways to affect the game, had double-figure rebounding, played solid defense. But then again, you got to give credit to Pikeville's Christian Builder with great defense. I mean, if he touched the ball 90 feet away, Christian was guarding him.
Yeah.
And to wear those white shoes with the gold trim, you have to have some kind of performance like that.
Christian Billiter definitely won best shoes of the tournament. So big shout out to Christian. I mean, he did. And we were talking at halftime during that game that, with Potter kind of being locked up so hard by Billiter and then just getting help defense, we knew somebody else was going to have to step up. Keian Worrix were there, and they really made it happen. And huge congratulations to Coach Hicks and the Shelby Valley Wildcats. Yeah. Big time win.
I mean, we're just touching on the championship, but semifinals, Wes, we were there.
Yeah.
And the performance by Cody Potter in that game.
Yeah.
He was dialed in. He made tough shots. I mean, the back and forth between Seth Williams on Paintsville. They made a late charge, and Shelby Valley found a way to hold on to that. I mean, that was a great game, too.
Yeah, and that showed me, Cody Potter's fearless. He'll pull up. I mean, he's not afraid to pull up from,
wherever he's
NBA range.
Absolutely.
And he's got a great-looking stroke, and he really did. He had an excellent game against Paintsville, keeping Shelby Valley, obviously coming out on top. But it was an absolute dogfight. Went back and forth, and Paintsville fought their way back in that game.
Moving on to the state now, you look, the girls, Paintsville Lady Tigers won the girls' 15th region last Monday night.
Yeah.
We've had those highlights in our podcast last week, but they come off and they kick it off at 9:30 p.m. against West Carter Wednesday night in the first round. Tough matchup. We hope that Paintsville is going to be well represented down there with the crowd and the atmosphere. Shelby Valley comes back. The boys, they'll play Thursday at 6:30 against Clinton County, Region 4 winner. Clinton County has a standout themselves in Jackson Harlan, who averages 26 points a game, has signed with Western Kentucky.
Wow.
So that matchup there with him and Cody Potter is definitely going to be very interesting.
For sure. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs, and we expect a good showing from both of these teams representing Eastern Kentucky down there in Richmond, right? EKU is where they play.
It's back at Richmond. It went back last year for the first time in a few years, so it's back in Richmond right now.
And are you all heading down there to cover that?
We will be down there to cover, and we'll have plenty of highlights for next week's podcast.
Yeah, listen, Cory and Randy are all over this All-A tournament, all over the regional sports in general, but we're keeping you up to date on all of the highlights from the All-A girls, All-A boys, and now from the state tournament in Richmond. So good luck to the Shelby Valley Wildcats.
Yeah, we'll have full coverage in our newspapers as well. So, I mean, the coverage that we give people, not a lot of people can give the photos, the stories,
That's right.
and then give you the highlights and the interviews afterwards. So, I mean, what we're trying to do is a little different now and give you the most in-depth interactive coverage that we possibly can. So, stay tuned for all that stuff.
Appalachian Newspapers is definitely the one-stop shop for all things local sports. These guys have got you covered. All right, once again, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Presbyterian Home Good Shepherd. It's a long-term care facility located in Phelps, Kentucky, offering skilled nursing services, therapy services, daily enriching activities, chaplain services, weekly housekeeping and laundering, an attractive dining area where menu options are offered to meet all daily dietary needs, all provided in a home-like environment. Call today for questions or to schedule a tour at 606-456-8725. And Dr. Shane Hensley, every athlete knows a good smile builds confidence. Dr. Hensley, a downtown dental in Pikeville, can help build confidence. Visit Dr. Hensley at 419 Town Mountain Road or call 433-14488. That's 433-1488 and score the perfect smile. Shout out again to Dr. Shane Hensley, a good friend of mine, and Presbyterian Homes on Cedar Creek. It's an assisted living facility in Pikeville, Kentucky, providing delicious dining, meaningful activities, thoughtful amenities, holistic health care, assistance with activities of daily living in a serene setting. It's faith-based, nonprofit. Call Executive Director Jessica Thacker to schedule a tour at 606-432-8243. Moving on to the highlights from the Boys All-A Classic at the Eastern Kentucky Expo Center. Check them out.
talk to our kids about being poised and disciplined, and I couldn't be more pleased right now with this bunch. I mean, we over the last couple of weeks, we've gradually been growing up, and you know, we really grew up a lot tonight. Some kids that sometimes when things don't go well, sometimes they don't do the best things in the world, but tonight, those kids, they really responded, and they handled adversity, and we knew Paintsville's a good team. Gosh, they're a heck of a team, and we knew they were going to make a run, and they did, and our kids responded and made some great plays. Keian Worrix, I mean, my goodness, 9 assists and 1 turnover, and 7 rebounds. I mean, Cody Potter, arguably, I mean, if there's a better player in all of East, I ain't talking about 15, all of Eastern Kentucky, I'd like to see him. We see all this junk defense and stuff, and Orby McPeak is a really good player. Orby's a really good, he's our best defender. He's one of our better rebounders, and he can knock down shots, and he's getting to where he can score on the basket. And he's been really a pleasure to coach over the last 4 years, and he's been a really good senior leader for us this year. Brandy, I was talking to, Travis Ford's a good friend of mine. He coaches at St. Louis University. He was a heck of a shooter. And like I was telling Travis the other night on the phone, and they're recruiting Cody, I said, Travis, he's not just the best shooter in Kentucky right now. In my last, I've been a head coach 17 years. I've been assistant coach for about 8 or 9. He's the best shooter I've seen. And I've been around some names. I've been around the Rick Joneses and the Casey Alsons in Scott County, and I've had some good ones myself. And some first-team All-Staters. He's the best shooter I've ever coached or something. We take a lot of pride in our defense, and we work on it. We play half court, tough hard-nosed man-to-man defense, and our kids tonight, they took it to a whole different level. And we knew Paintsville was going to make some plays because they got good players, but we defended really well tonight.
Last thing, and I'll let you go. Just talk about moving to the championship tomorrow. I mean, that's a big thing. The playing game. You come back against a good Prestonsburg team, and then now we go Paintsville team. Got a little bit of momentum now. I mean, what does this do for your guys' confidence going into tomorrow? Because y'all can beat whoever gets there. I mean,
when you get in these games like this, the kids have to go home. They got to get rest. They got to get off their legs. They got to hydrate. And then, it's tough because a big win like this, you got to let it go. You got to move on. And that's what we have to do tomorrow because we're going to be playing.
Yeah, we've had a couple of slow starts. I feel like last couple games we've come out a little bit slow, and that's what we kind of talked about in the pregame was, come out tonight, from start to finish. Have that intensity, that sense of urgency, and because a lot of people, I don't think they understand, what a dangerous team Eastern really is. And we know that from experience, because they knocked us off in here and 2 years ago when we felt like we should have won. So they always, do a great job, and we knew that coming into it. So, our biggest thing was making sure that we were focused and coming out and got off to a good start. Yeah, I think it plays a big factor for us. Just like you said, having that, these guys have played here, they've won here, so they kind of understand what it takes to win, and playing under the lights, so we shouldn't have any reason to have those nervous jitters before the game or anything like that because we've been through it. So that's a big plus for us, and we've been in lots of different situations in here. We've been down and had to come back, so all of that kind of helps us. We feel like that's when we're at our best, when the ball kind of sits in one guy's hands and it's not moving. We're not that good, and we kind of talked about it after the Johnson Central game the other day. We had 16 assists, and it's one of our better games all year. And like you said, because the ball was moving, people were sharing the ball, having fun. They've got great talent to go along with it. Hicks's teams, they always got great energy, and they're going to get after you defensively. So you've got to be able to handle that. And like you said, we play each other 3-4 times a year, so we've seen it, and we know what we're in for, and we're going to come and hopefully be ready to play. And like I said, just being for battle.
for you all, winning this game against Pikeville?
It feels amazing. We can't just.
Is it just get to the rim, get the shot up, and see what happens? Man.
Yeah. First of all, I was going to look for Cody, and if he wasn't open, I was thinking I would play. Just about him. Yeah, I was really wanting to go to Richmond. I wasn't going to let them 2 free throws get to me. We can't take all the glory. We got to give it to God. We are going to Richmond, so I'm excited for that.
Next day, I'm going to give God the glory because without Him, none of this would ever happen. But, our kids, they showed so much resilience tonight, and gosh, they just refused to lose. And they tied the game up there, and I come over here, and I knew what I was going to do. Keian Worrix is so hard to guard one-on-one. I said, honey, I'm going to put the ball in your hands, and I want you to go in about 5 or 6 seconds and make a play, and that's what he did. If you'd have told me before the game that Cody Potter would have not scored a field goal and we'd have won, I'd have cashed out all my annuities and everything and placed the bet. But, that just shows what type of kids we have, and they just battled. And Cody, the ball wasn't going in, but he kept his head up, and he did a lot of other things tonight, too. He made all his free throws. Don't be surprised if we're not right back in this same situation come a month from now. 3 of your top 4 teams right now are Class A teams, so we knew going in that this tournament was going to be huge, and the Class A does such a good job. It's not like a normal. There's 128 teams. That's half your teams in the state of Kentucky, and our kids, we're tickled to get to go down there and represent the region, and it's a big tournament. They do a lot for you. It's just a great atmosphere down there.
Well, the whole time I gave glory to God the whole time through it all. I just knew I'm a senior. I had to step up for my team, and that's what I did.
Yeah, just talk about, how good it feels seeing your little brother hit that game winner.
It means everything. It means everything. I knew he could step up and do it, and he did it. On any given night, anybody can score the ball. We all, and every practice we do it together. We know we all can score, and that's what we did tonight. It's my first time ever going to state. I've been waiting for this moment for 4 years, and I can't wait to get down there.
Just talk about the big game. I mean, everybody's going to focus on you. It seemed like that, everywhere you went, if you touched the ball 90 feet away, they had somebody on you. Just talk about what it says for your team to rally around you and find a way to win this game.
Everybody's always going to be guarding me as hard as they can, and it just gives my teammates a chance to step up, and they sure did it tonight. We always play hard, and we did it tonight.
Just talk about that game winner by Keian. I mean, what's that feeling like when you all see that ball go through the net?
It's crazy. It's indescribable. Yeah, I just have a lot more experience, and I just know my role. Got to score the ball so we can win. And
just talk about going to Richmond now. I mean, the big stage. You're going up to the state tournament. A lot of eyes on you. I mean, just talk about what this means to the team to make it to a state tournament. I mean, that's a big deal.
It means everything. We've got beat out of it the last couple of years, and it hurts to get beat. And we just use that to fuel our fire to come in here and win.
All right, thank you again to Presbyterian Homes Good Shepherd. It's a long-term facility located in Phelps, Kentucky, offering skilled nursing services, therapy services, daily enriching activities, chaplain services, weekly housekeeping and laundry, an attractive dining area where menu options are offered to meet all dietary needs, all provided in a home-like environment. Call today to schedule a tour, 606-456-8725. Thanks again to our guy, Dr. Shane Hensley. Every athlete knows a good smile builds confidence. Dr. Hensley at Downtown Dental in Pikeville can help build confidence. Visit Dr. Hensley at 419 Town Mountain Road or call 433-1488 and score that perfect smile. Presbyterian Homes on Cedar Creek is another assisted living facility in Pikeville, Kentucky, providing delicious dining, meaningful activities, thoughtful amenities, holistic health care, assistance with daily living, serene setting, faith-based and nonprofit. Call Executive Director Jessica Thacker to schedule a tour at 606-432-8243. And that brings us into the weekend with UK basketball. Got a big win over Auburn. We kind of had to skip out on the last couple of minutes for that game to get over to the All-A Classic. But Kentucky moves on against a good Auburn team. we got a great game from Keldon Johnson, Tyler Hero,
Yep.
both with 20. Tyler Hero's looking better and better.
And that's what we thought, we needed as fans going in. We thought we needed him to assert himself as a scorer, and that's what he did, 24 points. I mean, I think we missed some of the late game dramatics and heroics, but it sounded like, when we were watching it, they kind of had a big lead and were playing really well.
Yeah, we almost let Auburn back into the game. Obviously, they outscored us in the second half, but UK was able to hang on and move on in what's going to be, which we've said this from the beginning, tough SEC schedule. Only gets more tough next tomorrow, actually, 7 p.m. against Mississippi State back at Rupp Arena. So we'll definitely be watching the Cats tomorrow night, and then
this weekend, Kansas.
Yeah,
That's
and
the showdown.
Yeah, this
That's
weekend,
the showdown.
that is the showdown.
I mean, you'll tell a lot about this team against Kansas. I mean, that's the big one to look forward to. But,
yeah, this 3-game stretch, we're going to
Yep.
learn a lot about this Kentucky team, so we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. And then the biggest thing from yesterday, 2 huge NFL championship games. Both the AFC and the NFC go into overtime. It was great so we were coming straight off of the All-A championship game and then going home watching these NFC and AFC championship games, and they were great. They did not
disappoint.
Did not disappoint. The Saints, man, I hate to blame anything on the refs.
But that was blatant.
That was tough.
That was a blown call that everybody saw. And, if they get that call, they probably run the clock down, hit a chip shot field goal, move on. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
It goes to overtime. They still got a chance in overtime. I mean, as bad as that non-call was, they still had a chance.
Yeah, they still had a chance, and nobody can say that they would have definitively run the clock out because the Rams still had a timeout. Now, that being said, and you know this as well as I do, all the ticky-tack pass interference calls in the NFL, you hate to see him miss that in that big of a moment. So the Rams move on. Todd Gurley didn't look like himself yesterday, but
I don't know if he was hurt or what. There was really no update, so you really didn't know what was going on with the Todd Gurley
Didn't look
situation.
right.
I mean, he has a touchdown and only has four or five carries for 8 or 10 yards and a touchdown. I mean, you got probably the most explosive offensive player in the NFL, and he's basically sitting over there and watching the end of the game.
Yeah, and dropped a couple of passes in that game. I mean, something just definitely didn't look right. And then the Rams or the Saints, a couple of questionable play calls in my mind in overtime, especially coming out, and Breeze just threw a couple of bad passes. So, but anyway. The Rams move on to the Super Bowl, and then the AFC Championship game. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be a shootout between Mahomes and Brady. At this point, can you really argue that Brady's the best ever? I'm not a Brady guy, and I hated the Patriots for years. But at some point, you just got to tap out and be like, yeah, this is probably the best quarterback.
At 41 years old, he doesn't appear to be human. I mean, the guy has no drop-off at all. I mean, in overtime, he is zinging those balls on third down. I mean, some of those throws, they look like he was, 10 years earlier making the same throws. I mean, at a 41-year-old, he is not supposed to be making those throws. And, maybe he did cruise through the regular season.
Yeah.
If he can get by with it,
listen,
he can do it.
If this team can just flip a switch like that and cruise through the regular season when people are doubting them. I mean, look, they've been to 8 straight AFC championships for a reason, going back to another Super Bowl for a reason. It's because Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are going to have some. I mean, they threw a lot of stuff at Mahomes, was under pressure a lot yesterday. Damian Williams, I really like as their running back stepping in for Kareem Hunt. But, man, Mahomes made some throws yesterday.
Yeah,
just blow my mind.
I mean, he is unbelievable. At some point, you would think that this is his league for the next 10 years. I mean, once Brady probably decides to step away, you would imagine it's probably Mahomes' league as long as you don't suffer a major injury or something. But he made some throws. I mean, he's just so impressive and fun to watch. But you got to give the Patriots credit. They came with some schemes and some blitz packages that really got to him, and it seemed like when they went to cover zero and brung everybody, that's when he struggled. He hadn't saw that before. Yeah,
and big surprise once we get into overtime. Who's Brady looking to? Edelman, Gronk, Edelman, and then
Burkhead.
Rex Burkhead just pounds it in. These Patriot running backs between Sony Michel, James White, who's kind of a throwaway guy, and same thing with Rex Burkhead, kind of a throwaway guy. They turn into something, and the Patriots learn how to use them, and they were all three huge in that game yesterday. But, again, we're going to see the Patriots in another Super Bowl. I mean, I haven't seen any of the opening lines or anything like that, but I got to think the Pats are going to be the favorite, right? I mean,
the main opening, when it opened, the opening line was Rams 1-point favorite. Within an hour, Patriots 2-point favorite. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that line moves, how the over-under moves before we get to Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, early on, at this point, I haven't even thought about making a pick. What does your gut tell you right now, day after the championship game?
After watching the Patriots, it's hard not to
Right,
go for them.
that's how
But, I mean, I am curious to see Sean McVay. So I'll go out on a limb. I pick against the Patriots the whole way through. I'll pick against them one more time. I'll probably lose, but
yeah,
at this point, it's fun to pick against them.
And again, going back to that, Super Bowl a few years ago when the Falcons had them buried, they came back and won. I'm not going to be underestimating the Patriots. It would not surprise me to see either one of these teams obviously win the game, but
the Patriots dynasty started with a big win over St. Louis Rams 17 years ago. Now it's the Los Angeles Rams with a new upcoming coach, new high-powered offense. Maybe Brady gets this Super Bowl win and rides off into the sunset. Maybe he does this and then comes back and does it 5 more times.
Right.
Who knows?
If he wins the Super Bowl this year, and I know he said that he wants to play till he's 45, but I mean, I couldn't think of a more fitting way for him to go out. I don't expect him to retire, but
it'd be hard to retire after winning the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, I mean, and the way that Tom Brady's played this whole playoffs, and especially the way he played yesterday, who's to say he can't play till he's 45 at this point? So.
I mean, absolutely.
So it'll definitely be a fun Super Bowl to watch. And all right, we want to say thank you again to our sponsors, Presbyterian Homes on Cedar Creek, it's an assisted living facility in Pikeville, Kentucky, with delicious dining, meaningful activities, thoughtful amenities, holistic health care, assistance with activities of daily living, all in a serene setting. It's faith-based and nonprofit. Call Executive Director Jessica Thacker to schedule a tour at 606-432-8243. And every athlete knows a good smile builds confidence, and Dr. Shane Hensley at Downtown Dental can help build that confidence. Visit Dr. Hensley at 419 Town Mountain Road or call 433-1488 and score the perfect smile. Thanks again to Dr. Hensley and Presbyterian Homes Good Shepherd. It's a long-term care facility located in Phelps, Kentucky, offering skilled nursing services, therapy services, daily enriching activities, chaplain services, weekly housekeeping and laundry, an attractive dining area where menu options are offered to meet all dietary needs, all provided in a home-like environment. Call today for questions or schedule a tour at 606-456-8725. We want to thank everybody again for joining us for another Bank On It podcast. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll have some All-A highlights as Randy and Cory will be heading down to Richmond to have all of that covered for you in the Appalachian Newspapers and on the Bank On It podcast. So be sure to check us out next week, and thanks again.